Hi, Dan Benamoz here. We're always trying to increase our bottom line, and a lot of times people are thinking that the best way to do that is through more in sales, and certainly that is a way, but I want to show you something very interesting. I want to give you something to think about. I want you to look at this formula that I have up here. This represents, if you don't recognize this, this is a profit and loss statement. This number here up at top obviously would represent your sales. This is your cost of goods sold. This represents your gross profit, your expenses, and then the proverbial bottom line, your net income. Now, this is, imagine having it, this as being your initial summary. This is kind of actually accurate for our industry. This formula over here, same thing, but it represents a 40% increase in sales. I've kept everything else proportional. Cost of goods, 80%. 80% of 140 is 112. Expenses, 16% of sales. 16% of 140 is 22.4. And the bottom line, what we all tend to focus on here, represents this 5.6 represents a 40% increase. Now, would you agree that a 40% increase in sales is really hard to do? I think we'd all agree with that. So let me show you another way we can improve our profitability 40% very easily. Let's take this number and we reduce it by 10%. So I take off 1.6, make it 4.4. What happens to the bottom line? It goes from 4 to 5.6. So what we did here is we increased our bottom line 40% by decreasing our expenses just 10%. What we have found is that most pharmacies have about 10 to 12% fat built into their expenses. And if you were to go back down your P&L, everything that you're spending money on, do we still need it? Is it a want or is it a need? Do we still need it? Can I get it cheaper somewhere else? Those are the things you need to be thinking about and evaluating your expenditure. So oftentimes, once they get on the books, we never think about them again. And simply decreasing your expenses 10% can add a 40% to your bottom line without having to worry about increasing sales one dime. And that's the easiest way to increase profitability, 40%. Hope that helped.